5 to 9. So make it effort 10. He wins it by a half. According to this here in the telegram.
Hello racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Saturday, July the 6th races at Hastings. We do have 7 races on tap, part of our 2-day weekend at Hastings. We have Saturday and Sunday racing, both first posts at 150. We'll have 7 today. We'll have 8 for the Sunday program. And
should be another beautiful weekend out there. Last weekend was,
huge. That was great.
Great. Beautiful day. We ran 9 on Sunday, 10
on Monday.
10 on Monday. Both big crowds. Our handle was great. The crowd on Monday was the best I've seen in a long time. It was a great day and smoking hot. And speaking of smoking hot, there was 4 great races. We had 3-year-old boys, 3-year-old girls, older mares, older girls. We're going to get right into it here if we have this queued up. We're going to get into the first running of the Monaghy.
Monaghy,
sorry.
I know, I threw that in. That's my fault.
You got me going on that.
I know.
So we're going to watch Evelyn's Dancer out of the Troy Taylor barn here with Aaron Grider on. She breaks from the inside post here, and the 2-horse, I should say, and gets on the lead. Overvalued kind of, looks like she's going to go with it, but sits off for a little bit. And the fractions
we're painfully slow for
Evelyn's
this
Dancer absolutely dictates who wins this race. She's out there very relaxed. The last time these mares ran, Overvalued, Evelyn's Dancer, and Pia's Touchdown went in very quick, and all 3 of them, it cost them all dearly. Today, you can see everybody kind of sits back and lets Evelyn's Dancer roll, and she's going 24 and 3, and comes up with a 49 and 3, I believe.
You can see the back part of this race is far more congested than the front. I mean, it's just a total reversal of how the last older mare race was run a couple of weeks back. But there's traffic for Dance the Wind, who's trapped down on the inside behind this very slow pace.
There's a 49 and 1
out deep, and racing for gold's down there on the rail. But it's amazing when the pace scenario changes. These two pretty much have it to themselves, Evelyn's Dancer and Overvalued, and they pretty much turned it into a 3/8 of a mile sprint to home after they got the 3/4 in 14.
Yeah, you can see Evelyn's Dancer almost smile once she gets that 49 and 1.
No, that was Aaron.
And Overvalued takes a nice run at her here. And like, as you mentioned, it's a sprint to home from here. Castanet Dancer, the other one out of the Troy Taylor barn, she makes a nice little run here too, almost gets up for second. But when you give her, 114 and 3, there's another one. You're not going to run her down like that. And she's so, absolutely fresh, just sprints home here. And now everybody's running, but it's too late. You can't run down a fresh horse, especially like Evelyn's Dancer.
No, back on the top of her game. She toted 124 pounds, but definitely the key to success was the pace scenario: 24, 72, 49, 35. I mean, those fractions. On top of that, she has a 3-length lead in that.
Yeah.
And so
not even an eyeball on her at all.
So it was a pretty easy afternoon for Aaron Grider on Evelyn's Dancer, and congratulations to the North American Thoroughbred Court, Troy Taylor, getting Evelyn's Dancer back in the winner's circle.
Absolutely. She's been a dominant mare here since she arrived here. And as you mentioned, the last time the fractions cost her. This time with the easier fractions, they weren't going to run her down. The next one we're going to look at is 3-year-old fillies, the Supernatural. A couple of horses to watch here. Miss Derrick is the 2 horse, I believe. She broke on top here.
Took back.
Then you have the 6 horse is Lady Henrietta. The 4, Havasu Falls, a newcomer to Hastings Park, and I think so. All kind of going up to duke it out on the lead here. And it ends up being Lady Henrietta and I think so.
Yeah, here they're going to clear off here. The fractions weren't brutal, but they were. Miss Derrick got the nice box seat. There you see in the yellow blinkers, yellow silks. A little tough to handle between fillies. It
wasn't an easy trip for her. She did have quite a bit of trouble. As you mentioned, she's in a good spot, but she was a handful.
Silkworm is just in behind the first quartet, sitting there in 5th, and then CA Miss. And then look at the back runners getting the worst of it. I Want a Duster. They were
heels
getting
and wide,
4 wide behind this pace, which they slowed it up 47.77, which is quite comfortable for state caliber fillies.
Fillies of this caliber, absolutely.
But still, as you see, the 2-horse Miss Derrick, who was getting the run of the race right in behind the speed, I think so had no real excuses, and she had dead aim on Lady Henrietta, who in the end never did go by her.
She was in her spot and gets Starts passing her here. It looks like I Think So's race to lose here. And you can see I Want a Duster making a move on the far outside. Here comes.
She'd been a long drive.
Yeah.
I Want a Duster.
Yeah.
She'd been going a long ways out 4 deep too. But Miss Derrick just needs a way through. And
you have Lady Henrietta, I Think So, Silkworm all fighting it out here. And yeah,
here comes
Miss
the
Derrick
opening.
is in trouble. There it is.
Drifting out a little with Silkworm and seizing the opportunity.
And absolutely running off under Enrique Gonzalez to
Gonzalez.
win by a few. And it's the first time that 3-year-old filly have stretched out. And Miss Derrick looks like she's going to be a handful in this division from now on.
She showed she was pretty nice, though.
Yeah.
Last time she ran against the boys. And
That's
she
right.
was a pace casualty. If you like Bluegrass Pride, who beat her that day, but still getting back again against fillies and getting a proper pace scenario, she was going to be awfully tough, and she was. Congratulations to Copperwater.
Copperwater Thoroughbreds, and Craig McPherson and Enrique Gonzalez.
All right, let's get into the Saturday program. First race on the card, 3,000 claimers that have not finished better than 4th at the current meeting. Got a field of 6 signed on, or 7, pardon me. And the one I do like is the outside horse Cherokee Tier. Just has the 1 run going 3.5 furlongs, but that was strictly for exercise.
Yeah.
Got a race into him.
Little workout.
And hooks a very, very uninspiring field. I mean, this is a great spot for Cherokee Tier to return, and this horse should win at a short price. If Cherokee Tier doesn't win, then I think the next best horse is the one, JJ's Gypsy, been running against, I think, the tougher non-winners of the year earlier, and with some tough trips, too. This horse is getting wide-out trips. Gets down on the inside. Had a little confidence boost up in Princeton, running second that day, so that might put him in better stead. If I put him in for second, and I put Ching Bolt on the cutback in for third, Marnie Williams re-rides. Made a premature move going long. But if you look at this horse, his best races are sprinting. Just seems to be a late-running sprinter, and I think that's what Ching Bolt's game is, and I look for him to beat the balance. But Cherokee Tier looks miles the best on paper. 7-1-2.
Yeah, absolutely. I got Cherokee Tier on top. After that, I kind of saw it as a coin toss. I was hunting around. I went with Henry West in second. Not a bad little guy. Making his 71st career start. He's
Pretty solid.
Pretty solid horse. Yeah, he's 8 years old, and he, sound, obviously very sound and hard trying little guy. He's been running against, he ran that Hockley, True Grit, or Fleet Mac race last time.
That's
They were all
toughy.
pretty tough horses. Fernando Perez takes over for Jeff Birmingham for Henry Miller. In the third spot, I put Ton of Pride. Another one, been running those non-winners of the year against, Notice Sal, Monster in the Closet, Dog Rock, those kind of horses. And just think maybe he can get up for third under Alex Marty, who's been heating up lately. I got 7, 6, and 4. On to the second race, Maiden 10 for 2-year-olds. We have quite a few 2-year-old races on tap this weekend.
Yeah.
That's going to help our cards as we get more 2-year-olds running and get.
We're going to need the help from the 2-year-olds
Yeah.
population to be running in races because the older horses have really had to put on the show for the first 3 months of the year, and they're, some of them need now, instead of running every 2 weeks, they need to be 3 or 4 weeks in between races. And these are the horses that can fill the void.
2-year-olds can help the supporting cast here. In this race, I went to the 1 horse, Abil, out of the Monica Russell barn under Jeffrey Birmingham. Nice third place finish behind Hanrahan and Lord Galovic last time out. He's making his third start against, there's only one other horse in here that started twice. Once it started 1. In 2-year-old races, it always seems to make a big difference to me when you have horses that have had a start.
Experience is huge at 3.5.
Yeah.
It does, unless you're just a super fast first-time starter. But
Yeah.
experience will win these races because you do everything right. And horses that have have that race under their belt, they tend to do things right. And,
Exactly, which made me lean to Abil. An improving, 2 races. Not a bad third behind, Hanrahan and Lord Galovic last time. So I got Abil on top. The second spot, I put Miss Garbo on the second spot. Sultry Eyes was a very hard knocking mare for the Troy Taylor outfit. It's by Sir Galovic, who already has the first out winner.
They're running well, the Sir Galovics. They obviously have some talent.
Yeah, they are. And I like the post. The outside post isn't going to ruin her, if she doesn't break well. She's still going to have time to get involved in the race. Troy Taylor, Aaron Grider. And the third spot, I put Donnie Rose horse, Abra Be Gone. Ran in that Lady Strike Almost Too Much Fun race, which was a very tough race. Drops in for Maiden 10. And has the start. Antonio Reyes is a very capable rider taking over for a younger rider. So I got 1, 8, and 5.
I got the same 3 horses. I don't really have a lot to add. I think the 1 horse, Abil, has shown good speed and good energy away from the gate in both of his races. And I just think this horse, against this softer company, will get the lead. I put the 8 Miss Garbo in for second. Connections to and the pedigree is there, and the 5-horse Aber Be Gone gets off the rail. We had the rail last time and kind of got shuffled back. I think maybe better is in store on the class drop, and a good rider change as well. So I went 1, 8, and 5. I'm right with Drew in that race. On to the third race. Got a field of 7 maiden 5 granders going a mile on the 16th. I've landed on the outside horse number 7. He's Big Time. Ran a better than looked race behind Proxy Man in his debut. He was actually really closing well in that one. Then second time out going long, he was just kind of ran around there without a purpose. He looks like he needs some more experience and definitely needs easier company. He'll get that today, dropping from 10 down for 5. That was a pretty fast race, though. Maybe that's why he wasn't making any impression. They went in 145 and change. That's pretty tough for maiden 10 grounders. But against this crew, I think he's going to be pretty dangerous. I put the 2 Golden Flash. I'm not a big fan of 14-time maidens, but this horse did improve on the stretch out last time.
Every dog has his day, right?
Yeah, and the 6th horse, I Am Famous, will be my third pick. Another big fat maiden making his 20th start. So one of these, as you mentioned, every dog will have his day eventually, and maybe it'll be for the. I went 7, 2, and 6, but I like He's Big Time on the drop.
I got the same horses. I swipped. I like Golden Flash. I like that race last time going long. He's Big Time does have a long race. I don't know if he got as much out of his long race as I think Golden Flash got at his long race. So I put him on top. I put He's Big Time in second. And I'm Famous, a logical horse who was second favorite in his last start and didn't live up to expectations against Kaya's Command, Castrati, and Devil's Cause. But this one looks maybe a little bit easier. So I got the same horses, but I put the 2 on top. I got 2, 7, and 6. On the third, 3-year-olds and up, 7,500 non-winners of 3, going long for older boys. I have gone to the 2 Waylon Jack in here. A horse who's been running higher most of his life, dropped in for the 7,500 non-3 last time and ran into a very tough Rockin' Cherokee. I don't see anybody as tough as Rockin' Cherokee in this today. I think it's Waylon Jack's race to lose. The second race, I put Pasquero, a horse who has fit this condition but failed to find this race for some time. Ran in 7,500 open against that Tommy Dancer Goldfire. Way tougher race last week. Runs back in a week, a little concerning for me, but Van Overschot rarely does that. And when he does, he obviously has a good reason. He's not a guy to do that a lot, so when he does, he feels confident. So I like Pat Squirrel. And in the third spot, I put Double Minor out of the very hot Melanie Walters barn. Was a little higher earlier on. Dropped in for the 4-on-2 last time. Made no mistake of that. Not a terribly illogical step to go to the 7,500 non-3. I got 2, 5, and 1 in the fourth.
Yeah, I agree with the 2-horse Waylon Jack. I like him, but he's a horse that has been prone to seconds and thirds throughout his career, so it's tough to get overly confident about him, but he did drop into this condition last time and was a good second. Unfortunately, another horse dropped in Rockin' Cherokee and got the job done, got the jump on him. But I like the way this horse showed a little bit more gate speed and was actually in the race early. A lot of his races, he tends to drift back, but I think he'll be a real force. I put the 1 Double Minor in for second. The horse has been going well. The barn's been going well. That was enough for me. The stretch out didn't seem to bother him at all. Amadeo stays. And I put the 4-horse Follow My Orders, who finished just in behind Waylon Jack last time. He's a horse that's a distance specialist that's always right in the mix, a lot of on-the-board performances, and you want that in your tries. So I went 2, 1, and 4 in Saturday's fourth race. On to the fifth, $5,000 claimers that have not won 2 races since January 6th this year. Going to go a mile on the 16th. I landed on the far outside. My finger's working here. There we go. Sufi Dancer. Dropping back down in class, did scoop the cash very easily last time he appeared for $5,000. Stepped up to 7,500, got a tough 3 and 4 wide trip, which is why he ended up fourth that day. I'm just hoping it can get a better trip. Aaron Greider will take the mount. And I put the 1-horse Hockley in for second. First run off the claim for Mike Anderson. This horse dropped in for 4 and got an easy victory over True Grit, and I think he's worth following. Coming back quickly, but I still think he's worth a look. And I put the 5-horse Olaxa, who's been in good form this year. Nice win from off the pace when taking advantage of a fast pace scenario. And it looks like there should be a pretty lively pace in here. You got Hockley showed a little bit of gate speed. You got Vying for Glory and Country Kid. Bosco's Quick, who's just running on every distance, going to go 6.5 to 3.5 to 8.5 furlongs now. And True Grit likes to run near the pace, and so does Sufi Dancer. So that could help out Olaxa, is what I'm saying. Not the best horse in the race, but he may get that favorable scenario where 3 or 4 of them beat each other up on the front end, and it might make Olaxa a winner. But I went 8, 1, and 5. Sufi Dancer is the best horse for me. As long as he can avoid a pace stool, I think he wins the money.
I have the same horses, same top 2 horses. I put a Hockley on top though. He was unlucky when he dropped down to the non-winners of the year for 5. He was unlucky to lose that first one he ran that day. Then he ran back for the non-winners of the year for 4 and made no mistake, was the best horse. Mike Anderson has been very good off the claim. Runs him right back, but Frank Fuentes sticks with him, and the distance obviously isn't going to be a problem for him. So I like Hockley. I got Stoofy Dancer in for second. The reasons you mentioned, when he showed up for 5, absolutely crushed him. And I put the Country Kid in for third. Another one that likes the distance. He could be definitely a victim of the pace scenario, as you mentioned. But if for some reason they leave him alone, he gets very brave on the head end, especially going long.
Going to miss his rider.
Yes,
Marlowe.
he
Marlowe
is
retired.
Marlowe.
He said, but Marlowe's been on him twice this year, and he galloped home both times.
She just shows up for him when he's live. She should have come back and rode him this time because she suits him to a T. But I got 1, 8, and 3 in the 5th race. On to the 6th, another 2-year-old race. As we mentioned, we have a fair bit of 2-year-old races this weekend, I should say. 2-year-olds. This is a maiden special weight going 3/4. Nice little race. I've gone to the 4 Goliath out of the Dino Condolinos barn, out of the very solid broodmare Real Vein. As we talk about Marlowe, absolutely suited Country Kid. This was one that she did not suit. Had a very rough trip on this horse last time, was on heels, never really got to run. Even down the stretch, he was looking for room. Just couldn't seem to get clear. It was just an unlucky trip. I think with a clean trip, Goliath is going to be a monster in here. You like that?
You're getting good at this, buddy.
In the 2nd spot, I got Lord Galovic. Ran for maiden 20. Unlucky to get beat by Hanrahan. Kind of fell apart a little bit. At the beginning of the race that day, kind of was lost. Was running on at the end. Did get beat by 3 lengths, but was definitely closing. I like Lord Galovic for 2nd. And in 3rd, I went to Holiday Babe, a nice filly by Harlan's Holiday out of the Greg Tracy barn. Good 2nd, her last out. And being a Harlan's Holiday of a Wild Again mare, they bought her at Keeneland. She's well bred. She is not going to be a 3.5 horse.
No.
The 3/4 is definitely getting closer to what she's going to like. I got 4, 6, and 3.
Yeah, I'm a little different in this one. I like the 5 horse and all that it means. This horse, I liked him last time, and ran kind of an odd race, was flat, just kind of drifted back, kind of lost focus, and because there was a big gap of about 5 or 6 lengths between the first pack of horses that were showing speed, and then there was a second gap. And once this horse kind of got a horse to come up to him, he would rally again, but he didn't run until a horse come up to him, which cost him being so far back. He ended up running on beautifully late, ended up getting 3rd, but he didn't really run a yard. This horse really needed the race, and he may just need a set of blinkers, and he's going to get that today. So I think this horse will show more speed, more focus. I think you'll see this horse more on the on the ball, because the pedigree was there, the works were there for a big performance, and just the inexperience really showed, and maybe the blinkers will help him out. I agree with the 6, Lord Galovic. A lot of the sons and daughters of Sir Galovic are showing a lot of talent, and this one likely no different. I think he'll appreciate the stretch out, was running well at the end of that 3.5 furlong race. And the 7 horse, Quiet Finality.
I looked at that one too.
Brilliant works for Paddy Leaney. A couple of minute and change works. Obviously coming back well from these works because he produces 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And then a little slowed her down a little bit last week in 102 and change. But I think there's a lot there. Yeah, will debut on Lasix, and I think this horse is definitely worth a look. So I went to the outside horses. I went 5, 6, and 7. But I can definitely make a case for your horse Goliath. This horse will improve as well. And I just had to leave somebody out. But I went 5, 6, and 7.
Get down and look at him in the paddock.
Yeah, always have a peek at him.
Especially the 2-year-olds.
Okay, the 7th and final. Nonwards the 3 Lifetime fillies. The mare's going 6.5. I'm going to go to the 1 Silver Street. Big class drop last time and got the dough, and been freshened up. We'll see if Silver Street can take them gate to wire, or reasonably close to gate to wire. Obviously the barn does well with this type of move, and I like this horse to be quite dangerous. I put the 5 horse Forever Me, who's been on a good roll. A couple of wins sandwiched between a 2nd place run in his last 3 or her last 3 starts, and she seems to be a filly that can do anything on the pace, off the pace, long, short, and I like that. So she's going well. And I put the 4, Remembering When, back down for 4,000. She did win a non-2 for 4. Took the journey up to 7,500 non-3. It was an okay 3rd by Victoria's Spirit and Closing Intentions, but gets back for 4. But hooks into I think a pretty tough little $4,000 field though.
Yeah.
There's some good little horses in here that are sharp. This is a toughie. I went 1, 5, and 4.
Yeah, I think those 3 were trying to avoid those 3.
They ended
I got the
up
same
dancing.
3. Silver Street, I put Remembering When in for second because I like that third behind Victoria's Spirit and Closing Intentions. And I got Forever Me in third spot. I like Silver Street, but it's not locked by any means.
No, first start in 10 months or
yeah,
whatever
I would say you want all three of those. Those are the three horses, the 1, 4, and 5 in any which order. Any kind of exotics, pick fives, that kind of stuff you're going to do. I would have all three of those. Those are the three that make sense for me. I did go 1, 4, 5, but as I say, you could jumble those around.
Yeah, you need all three of them in your pick fours or pick threes or whatever wager you like to play. This is not a single O race, I don't think. I wouldn't want to stand alone with the 1 horse or just the 5 horse or just the 4 horse. I think you're pretty solid with all three.
With all three of them, yeah, and none of those three winning would be a shocker by any means. That'll do it for our analysis of the 7 races for the July 6th Hastings card. Up next on screen, we're going to have our
There
picks.
we are.
There's
Recap, quick
first.
recap. Got my little bingo balls there. There we go. In race number 1, I went to the 7, Cherokee Tier, 7, 1, and 2. In the second race, number 1, Abil, 1, 8, and 5. In the third race, number 7, he's big time, 7, 2, and 6. In the fourth race, number 2, Wayland Jack, over the 1, Double Minor, and the 4, Follow My Orders. In the fifth race, number 8, Sufi Dancer, over the 1, Hockley, and Olaxa, the 5 for third. Race 6, number 5, and All That It Means, over the 6, Lord Galavic, and the 7, Quiet Finality. But I still think you need a few horses in that one. There's some nice colts in that race. And in race number 7, the 1, Silver Street, followed up by the 5 and 4. 1, 5, 4 for me in the Saturday finale.
And up next, there we go. There's my picks in the first race. I agree with Mike on number 7, Cherokee Tier, over the 6 and the 4. In the second, again, I'm with Mike on number 1, Abil, over the 8 and the 5. In the third, I went to number 2, Golden Flash, over the 7 and the 6. In the fourth, number 2 again, Wayland Jack, over the 5 and the 1. In the fifth, I went to number 1, Hockley, over the 8 and the 3. In the sixth, I went to number 4, Goliath, over the 6 and the 3. And in the nightcap, again, I'm with Mike on the 1, Silver Street, over the 4 and the 5.
Well, that'll do it for the Saturday, July 6th edition of Handicappers Corner. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your day to tune us in, and hopefully we've enlightened you and get you some, headed in the right direction, having some winning wagers. Next live card will be Sunday, July the 7th. We do have 8 races for you. Please tune in to that show. On behalf of Drew, thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill for Handicappers Corner.
Is clear, can do. This guy says the horse can